Welcome back, everyone, to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We have a very interesting weather pattern taking hold this week as we have warmer than average temperatures, an Indian summer, if you will, continuing across portions of southern Canada as we are a handful of degrees above normal today. And watch as we go through the week. This is on Thursday, late this week on September 28th. We're up to 20, if not 25 degrees above normal across the central Great Plains, centered across the Nebraska, Kansas, and western Iowa region. And then by this weekend on Saturday, we're going to have a trough in the west. That's going to keep temperatures cooler than normal from portions of western Montana down into Idaho, Oregon, much of California, and Nevada here, as we could be 15 to 25 degrees below normal, with temperatures across the eastern two-thirds of the country, especially around the Midwestern regions, up to 30 degrees above normal this upcoming weekend, especially as we get to Saturday, September 30th. If you like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, including southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. It is absolutely free to do, and you get daily weather content on this channel. And I do appreciate if you guys press the like button down below, and also make sure we get to that 50,000 mark for subscribers. We're almost there, so thank you again to all the new subscribers. I cannot thank you enough for helping to grow this page and get the vital information out there. Looking here at the general weather pattern going through this week and into the weekend, we have a strong trough out west that will control our weather pattern with more of those active periods of rainfall, some thunderstorms, and also some cooler than normal temperatures for this time of year. But downstream to the east, it's a completely different story. Most of us will remain dry. Yeah, we could see some showers and thunderstorms at times with the weakness of the ridge, but other than that, we're seeing a summer-like temperature regime across the eastern United States as we go through this week and into this weekend. And when I say weakness in the ridge, we do start to see some thunderstorm activity. We have a marginal risk down here into southern New Mexico and West Texas. Also a more concerning marginal risk across the Illinois Valley here from portions of northern Illinois down into eastern Illinois and into portions of Indiana. And when I say a little bit more concerning, we do have a low-end threat for tornadoes, especially from Rockford, Illinois, down through the DeKalb region where NIU is there into northern Illinois University, getting all the way southward toward Peoria, Bloomington, Normal, and even the Champaign-Urbana region as we go through the day today. So watching here this morning, we're going to have a couple bands of showers and thunderstorms moving across the western Great Lakes region, across eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, into north central Illinois. And some of this activity could extend closer toward the Indianapolis region as of this morning. We'll be watching out for some gusty winds and some smaller hail with these morning thunderstorms, but it's really as we get into peak daytime heating. So this afternoon, we're going to start to see that instability increase. That's your CAPE values going in excess of 1,000 joules per kilogram. The CAPE values means convective available potential energy that you have in the atmosphere, and you have backed surface winds toward the low pressure system that's centered up here into the upper Midwest. So we're going to start to see more of those winds turning back into the low pressure system, and that's where we could cause some issues for some tornadoes and some supercells out there, and that does linger even as we go into the overnight hours tonight as well. So make sure if you live across the Illinois Valley, including northern and central Illinois into Indiana, that you have multiple ways to receive watches and warnings throughout the day today. If one should be issued, make sure to heed the warning, whether it's a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning, very quickly here, because looking at the mixed layer CAPE, again, it's the convective available potential energy. And then combining all this with our surface winds at 10 meters, our 850 millibar low-level jet, and our 500 millibar mid-level jet, you can see where we see those come together with the instability and our backed winds at the surface and also aloft. We are starting to see some signs that if thunderstorms develop in this environment later on this afternoon and this evening, they could start to rotate. So that will be something to watch as we go throughout the day. Then all of that shifts further to the east for your Wednesday on September 27th. This is across the lower Ohio River Valley and portions of the Tennessee Valley here from around Nashville or just east of there up through Lexington, Kentucky, getting into southeastern Indiana and southwestern Ohio. Possibly a tornado or two as we go into Wednesday, but mainly this is going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail, and the coverage of those thunderstorms will be on the isolated side. But the big story heading into this weekend is the warmer than normal temperatures. I mean, folks, it is the end of September on Saturday, the very end of September on the 30th, and these are your high temperatures. We have temperatures into the 80s and low 90s across the Great Plains here, heading up into the upper Midwest. Yeah, 83 is your high into the Twin Cities, approaching 90 at 89 there in Omaha, and into the 90s at 93 there in Wichita on Saturday. And look at these lows Saturday night. We're only dropping back into the 60s and mid to upper 60s at that across portions of the Great Plains and even up here into the Midwestern regions. So that will be a higher springboard of which to start. So temperatures will be back into the 80s and 90s as we go into Sunday as well. And this actually starts October 1st. So this is some unusual warmth across the eastern two-thirds of the country here. And this looks to have some staying power because we have the ridge across portions east of the Rockies and a trough meandering out west with that battle zone going on across the Great Plains. And that's where we're going to be seeing the severe weather and heavy rainfall threats set up through the first 10 days of the month of October. From the northern plains, the upper Midwest, all the way south through the central plains, the southern plains, and perhaps parts of the Pacific Northwest, getting in on the active period there. Will be a little bit drier across the Northeast and down into the mid-Atlantic. Turning to the tropical weather update, we're keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Felipe that continues to spin and meander across the North Atlantic Ocean. Currently, a maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour, so more of a mid-grade tropical storm. Movement is to the west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. It will maintain tropical storm status. It will not intensify any more than it is now for the most part, and if it does, it'll still just remain a strong tropical storm. But as it moves further to the west, it may start to indirectly impact portions of Puerto Rico and the northern Leeward Islands as a tropical depression here moves in this upcoming weekend, mainly just with some waves out there. And just tracking it here today, you can see it's a weaker system just to the east of the Leeward Islands, and as it continues to meander off to the west, northwest there, it's going to lose its luster as we go into this weekend. But our new attention will be turning to the main development region yet again as another system develops here. The National Hurricane Center is giving this a 90% chance of development over really the next 48 to 72 hours as it gets going here across the main development region. And you can see that here by Friday, this system's already probably going to be a tropical storm as it is approaching to the east of the Leeward Islands. And then as it moves a little bit closer there on Sunday, October 1st, it gets a little bit closer. We're probably talking about maybe a Category 1 hurricane at this point, and then rapid intensification. Yeah, we got the very warm waters out here still. So by a week from today on Tuesday, October 3rd, this storm system right now, the European model has this moving more away from the Leeward Islands and the Caribbean and moving up as a fish storm again, kind of like Felipe, across the western and central Atlantic Ocean. And that's all in control with that high pressure system. Remember, high pressure systems bring clockwise airflow around them, so that will be steering this storm away from the United States and away from the Caribbean most likely. And looking at some of the ensemble guidance, the EPS ensemble, this is your European ensemble members, and all of them are mostly showing this center of low pressure well away from the Leeward Islands. A couple members getting closer toward Puerto Rico and the northern side of the Leeward Islands, but those are likely outliers by next Tuesday, because look at even at the American ensemble members, the GEFS ensemble members here. They are well away from any source of land here, well to the eastern Bermuda and over the open waters of the North Atlantic. So again, it looks more and more likely that the next named storm will be Rena, but this will also more likely of being a fish storm as we go in toward early October. But will it continue to be that way? The Climate Prediction Center does forecast through the 10th of October a very active period with many tropical waves trying to move off of the African coast into the main development region and having attempts at trying to either get into the Eastern Caribbean or into the Western Atlantic. And we'll have to keep an eye on that at least through the first 10 days of the month of October. Well, if you haven't seen my winter weather forecast for 2023 and 24, make sure to do so down below. The video is down below this video to go watch that one. Leave any comments, questions, concerns that you have about that, and also make sure to like the video on the winter one. I spent lots of time on that as well. Otherwise, make sure to like this video, subscribe. It's absolutely free to do, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your week out there.